Hey guys, and welcome to Bosh TV. Today you're in for a proper treat because I'm going to be cooking for you a mushroom and Guinness pie. And you can cook along if you want to. It's going to be absolutely delicious, proper pub grub. And the first thing we're going to do is take our mushrooms. Those mushrooms are going onto a baking tray because we're going to roast these bad boys. But first, of course, we need a touch of oil and a generous pinch of salt and pepper. Now these bad boys are going to go in the oven for 15 minutes to get that lovely roasted flavour. Now our mushrooms are in the oven, so we're going to get on with the filling for this beautiful pie. First off, a bit of olive oil in the pan, and then we're going to add a lot of onions. 4 onions to be precise. And to that we're going to add 6 garlic cloves that have also been finely sliced. Now that's a lot, but we like a lot of flavour, and we're going to get a really wholesome pie filling. A quick pinch of salt is always a good idea with onions, and then stir that on a medium heat for about 10 minutes until they're really softened and started to cook down. These onions have softened perfectly, and to add to that natural sweetness, I'm going to add sugar. And for flavour, some rosemary and thyme, which have been finely chopped. Stir that all together and continue to cook these onions for another 5 or so minutes. Now we've got the fragrance of those herbs, that lovely sweet oniony flavour is in the air, and the garlic. Now there's one thing missing from this pie, and it's Guinness. I'm gonna pour some stout in here and cook that through those onions. It's gonna add a lovely richness and bubble this away for another 10 minutes. That Guinness has added proper depth, but to add to that, it's time for our mushrooms. These have got all of those lovely roasted flavors as well, and check this out. We've got the juices that have come out while they've been roasting in the oven. Delicious. More depth from this soy sauce, some absolutely crucial fiery mustard, and then to finish off our pie filling, we're gonna stir through some flour. And then cook that for a further 15 to 20 minutes, stirring it regularly and tasting it as you go. Tastes perfect. No changes needed. Whoa, this filling is incredible. Look how brown it is. If only you could smell what I smell. It smells absolutely wonderful in here. That is done. I'm gonna let that cool off for about 10 to 15 minutes while we get on with the pastry. Our filling is now chilling inside this pie dish. Now make sure that you use a dish that is gonna be able to handle the oven, because you don't want it to break in there, do you? Okay, let's get on with our pastry. This is shop-bought puff pastry. Puff pastry is like layers and layers of pastry and butter, painstakingly wrapped on top of each other, folded again, folded again, folded again. It takes ages. You don't want to do that. So this stuff saves you loads of time. Highly recommend it. We're going to flour our surface to make sure that our pastry doesn't stick to that surface. And then another little tip is to also just flour your rolling pin a touch. And then it's time to roll out our pastry. I'm going to use a nice, proper rustic rolling pin. But really, like, you could use anything you've got lying around. You can even use a wine bottle if you're find yourself a little bit short. So don't be afraid to freestyle. Just gently roll it out. We're going to have lots left over, but make sure that you've got a nice, smooth surface that's quite even. We don't want a wonky pie lid. And keep going until you're a couple of millimeters thick and you've got a nice wide square that's easily going to fit over the top of your pie dish. Pastry is looking good. My black t-shirt has just about survived this ordeal. Now, a cool trick here is I'm going to use this bad boy and just flop the pastry over it to move it away for 1 second while bringing our pie back into the mix. So we'll just take our pastry and flop it over the top like so. Look at that. That was absolutely beautiful. Make sure that our pie is kind of sitting on top of our filling. We don't want a massive, massive gap underneath. Let gravity do the work. Get some scissors, cut around the edge of that pie dish. Pop a little knife in to make a hole. That's going to allow any air to escape. Next, we'll crimp all around the outside with a fork. Really, it's just a kind of rustic effect that just looks nice. To help it brown in the oven, we're just gonna baste this beautiful thing with some melted dairy-free butter. Give it a real good covering, and that's gonna add a lovely color. And to make it look posh, 2 sprigs of rosemary. Now that is going into our oven at 180 degrees for about 30 to 35 minutes. Now here is our pie. Doesn't she look beautiful? Proper brown and crispy on top, bubbling around the edges. Absolutely perfect. This is going to be an absolutely wonderful dish when we serve it up. Let's get this on the plate. Wow. I mean, it looks magnificent. It's still steaming, which is always nice with a pie. Oh wow. That is as good a pie as you're ever gonna taste. It's so rich, there's so much umami. It's got umami for days. It's crispy on the top, it's succulent on the inside, it's steaming out the oven. It's absolutely beautiful, and that is what you want to eat on a winter's night. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I'm gonna enjoy this pie right now. Let us know your thoughts in the comments down below, and we'll see you on the next video. Peace.